Hi, YouTube friends. Here we are for our Tuesday herb chat. I did not notify anybody or remind people in my groups that I was doing this today, so who knows, maybe nobody will show up. But I did get some questions in our natural living community, and so I will address those and answer them. I have a really great cooling and refreshing spray that I'll share the recipe to as well. And I love it. It only takes 3 essential oils and it's great. So I'm going to go ahead and just hop into the questions that I have and then we'll chat. Well, one person's here, 2 people are here. Hi, you guys. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get into YouTube over here on my computer and let's see. And if you guys, I'm going to try to bring up the chat and watch the chat. Joe's not here to help me, so it's just me. But oh, hi Lydia, hi Michelle. Hey, you guys, thanks for being here. Um, yeah, so if you have questions, then let's see here. If you have any questions at all, you can put them in the chat, and if I can see them, if I can figure that out, then I can answer them. Let's see here. Okay. Oh yes, here we go. I think I can do this. Oh good. Oh, you guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's so yeah, if you want to share where you're from, I love hearing that. And we've got North Carolina, we've got Texas, we've got Valley Mines, Missouri. Missouri is so pretty. I've always wanted to go there. Joe and I were actually thinking about moving there for a little while, and then we ended up over here in Idaho. But anyway, so if you're just coming on, this is our Tuesday herb chat, and West Virginia. Awesome. Hey, Jean. Yeah, so we're just going to chat about herbs. So if you've got any questions, comments, you can go ahead and write them in there. Hey, Richard. Okay. I have to admit something. The live chats make me a little nervous, and they shouldn't, because I do these every single week in the tribe with my herbal students, and we have such great conversations and herb chats over there. YouTube's a little different though, so thank you for being here. Please tell people about these. At this point, they're still experimental, these herb chats, but I really can see me starting to like them and like to do them because I like talking with people. I like talking with you guys about herbs. So I did have some questions over in our natural living community, and I know I'm not looking at you right now, I'm sorry, but if you are not in our natural living community, you should join. It's free for everyone, at least at this point. And it's a great place to just get in there and start learning herbs. It's for everybody. It's not just for students. And we once in a while have chats over there and everything. But I've just basically been putting these YouTube chats over there, just reminding people. And this is where the chat questions are too. You can also ask questions in the YouTube community. I didn't realize this, but there's something called community. So you can go to my channel and actually ask a question on this thread, ask it in a chat thread, but where I say Tuesday's Herbal Chat, then you can ask there too. So here we go. And I just go live. I don't have any special links or anything like that, but Tuesdays at 10. And let's see here. So Mary Jean had a question. She says, I'm anxious to start a medicinal garden, but I'm afraid that I will purchase the wrong seeds. This is a site I came across, and I think I will purchase this. It's expensive, but not if these are not the correct seeds I need. Can you check this out, please? I will try to watch on Tuesday, but take care of great-grandson then and may not catch it all. Thank you, Mary Jean Kersey. What a blessing it is to be able to watch your great-grandson. What a blessing. You're so lucky, Mary Jean. Anyway, As far as the herb kit, I know this website. I believe it's the Lost Herbs lady. I can't remember her name, and I cannot speak to the quality of her seeds, but I will say this about building your medicinal herb garden. You know, anytime you get a package of pre-selected seeds for your herb garden, you're very likely not to get exactly what you need or want. So I would suggest, if you guys are wanting to start your own medicinal herb garden, then you need to, number one, make a list of the conditions that you want to be able to deal with for your family, if that makes sense. So let's just say you definitely want something to help with the skin, or you want something to support your liver, or you want herbs that are really good for cold and flu, or you want to build your immune system, or you want pain relieving herbs, whatever they are, or maybe herbs for digestion, then I would suggest choosing some of those. Go make a list of the conditions, and if you're in the natural living community with us, you can just ask, hey, which are the best herbs to grow for cold and flu? And then you're going to get a lot of really good answers. But I would suggest building it yourself. I do have an article on my website. um, it's 20 medicinal herbs to consider for your herb garden. So you can, do a search for that, and find that. I think I updated it just recently, so it should be near the top of my home site. By the way, my website is Healing Harvest Homestead, in case you aren't aware of that. I teach herbalism and aromatherapy and natural living, and sometimes a little bit of homesteading and self-reliance. All right, so Mary Jean, that's what I would say about that. Don't just blindly buy a packet of seeds, especially if they're expensive. And I just want to say too, my favorite seed companies, I don't know if anybody's wondering, but I really love buying my medicinal herb seeds from Strictly Medicinal. That's Rico Check's company. He's very, very well versed in herbal medicinal seeds. And Baker's Creek seeds are also really good. I've had great luck with the seeds from both of those places. All righty. Let's see. Sherry says, can I use the passion flower leaves with flowers in my relaxing sleep tincture, or just the flowers only? You can use them both. So there you go. Just go ahead and take a bunch, lay them out to dry, and then just, you can strip the leaves and the flowers right off, and you can use both leaves and flowers. Yeah, passion flower is amazing. I'm a little bit envious of people who can grow it in their yards. Um, I have grown it here in northern Idaho, but it's tricky, and it's you have to really baby it along. And I see these massive plants from down south, or the southeast, and I'm just like, oh, it's not fair. But you know what? We all can't grow everything everywhere, right? Jamie says, good morning, Heidi. Just harvested some marshmallow roots. Love these chats, even when I can only watch at a later time. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Catherine says, is it possible to use a Comfrey and Yarrow salve on your lips? It is. You can, Comfrey, especially if you've got chapped lips that aren't, thank you, Cindy, for putting that in there. Cindy just put the seed companies in the chat. Especially if your lips are not like open, you don't have open sores on your lips, Comfrey and Yarrow are just fine. And Yarrow and Comfrey both are very, very skin healing. So absolutely, I would say yes. Everybody's a little bit afraid of Comfrey. Let me talk about Comfrey for a moment. Comfrey has chemicals in them, in the plant, called pyrrolizidine alkaloids, also known as PAs. And these are compounds that, when taken in large amounts and over a period of time, can negatively affect your liver. Okay, so we don't want to negatively affect our liver. Our liver is vital to our health. We want to support our liver. And so the word on this herbal street now is to stay away from Comfrey. Don't take it internally. And I'm just going to say that if you're putting it on your lips for as a balm, and you know, as long as you're not eating it, you're gonna be okay. Also, there are certain situations where taking in comfrey internally might be indicated. And if you're working with an herbalist who's aware of those situations, such as a broken collarbone, for example, that can't, you know, you can't put it in any kind of a cast, but you want it to heal up well and heal up quickly. Taking comfrey, in fact, I suggested this to my stepmom, take a cup or two of comfrey leaf tea, you know, 2 or 3 times a day for 2 or 3 weeks, and then stop. But in that time, comfrey helps your body build the tissues up. That includes skin, it includes bone, cartilage. Comfrey's really, really a great herb. So you just need to not use it internally for very long, and only if you have to. But generally speaking, we don't need to be afraid of it. You would have to take a lot of it for it to be super harmful. Michelle says, I've noticed that several proofs of alcohol are used when making tinctures and such. What determines the proof? Okay, this is a great question. So I'm just going to say most herbs extract really well in 80 proof alcohol, okay? I love, just generally speaking, I use 80 proof alcohol, which is 40% alcohol and 60% water for the majority of my herbs. And the reason I like 80 proof is that most herbs will extract some compounds in alcohol and some compounds in water. And 80 proof alcohol gives you that really nice, you know, 40-60 percentage. And I just think it works really well. 100 proof is also good. But sometimes you might want to be dealing with plants that are high in polysaccharides, like lichens or like some mushrooms. And in that case, you definitely want to use a high proof alcohol, and you may even want to go and use a dual extraction of water and alcohol. And there's a whole process for that. We talk about that in the Confident Herbalist Tribe too, like different medicine making methods and how to really dig in and get what you need out of those herbs. Oh, hey, Joanne from Tennessee. A chat thing just popped up. Anyway, so what's going to determine the proof is basically the herbs that you're using and what you want to do with them. So the higher proof alcohol is not necessarily better to use, okay? I know a lot of people will say, oh, I only use 190 proof alcohol. Please, no, you don't need to do that. You really don't. It really depends on the herb. A good place to ask is to get into a good herb group where there's knowledgeable people. You can join the natural living community. In fact, I should just put a link in the chat if I can ever get over there. And then, basically, it's a good place to ask. Okay, oh, thank you. Thank you. Styles by Leilani, nice, in Chicago. Oh, I appreciate that. See, Debbie says, is it better to use cannabis in an infusion or tincture? And what is the best way to prepare both? Okay, so here's the thing with cannabis. There's quite a process for having a good extraction for cannabis. I know that some people will bake the flowers, and then they go ahead and they put high proof alcohol with them, and then they freeze them, and there's a carboxylation process that some people like to do. There's even special machinery. And I would say you can also just do a simple tincture, but it's probably not going to be very strong. And I've never actually messed around with cannabis, to be honest, because here in Idaho it's illegal. So basically, I haven't grown cannabis because it's illegal, and nor have I worked with it for that reason. We left Southern Nevada right before cannabis became legal down there, and moved here to Idaho. So you know, I haven't yet played with it yet, but I've read a lot about it. And you know, you guys, we always get these wonder herbs, right? We always, every decade seems to have like their super plant, the super herb. And you know what, back in the 90s it was St. John's wort. St. John's wort will cure your depression. Well, no, not exactly. It does have effects on the nervous system and the emotions, but it doesn't work like an antidepressant drug. Okay, very, very different process there. In fact, let me just say this, because this came up this week in the group where um, one of my students was talking about herbal replacements for prescription drugs. Okay, you guys, herbs are not drugs, and they don't act like that. The job of an herbalist is to simply bring our bodies back into a state of balance or homeostasis. That's balance, okay? Our bodies are always trying to reach that point anyway, naturally. And the thing is with drugs, with prescription drugs, we want to cover up a symptom and feel better. That's why people take drugs. Or a doctor tells us there's something wrong with us and we need to take this drug. And then we have side effects. Well, the drugs don't necessarily help bring our bodies back into a state of balance. All right, they don't really support that. They are there to cover a symptom and make you feel momentarily better, and then you have to go take more. Herbs, what they do is they work to heal your body. If you are using herbs correctly, and you're also taking care of lifestyle changes that you need to take care of, exercising, healthy weight, sleeping, stress management is huge. All of these things go together and they help your body to work to bring yourself back into that state of balance. And perhaps you can then get off of the prescription medications or the over-the-counter medications. That is actually what happened with me. Okay, and it was all kind of by accident. I started out using herbs for exactly like what I just told you, to make myself more comfortable. Okay, I suffered from allergies. I had headaches a lot. I couldn't sleep. Oh my gosh, I was a mess. I had rosacea all over my face because my liver was so toxic. I was a mess. And I started using herbs for different things. And as I learned, and as I went through my herbal journey, so to speak, what I realized was that my body was healing up. My face was clearing up. Even though I wasn't even doing anything specifically for my face, my skin was clearing up. I just felt better and more energetic, and I'm sure that's because my liver was being supported finally for the first time in its life. After decades of abuse from over-the-counter drugs and prescription drugs and antibiotics, and my goodness. So, and I know I'm on a little rant here. I'm sorry. I'll stop, and I'm going to go back over to the YouTube channel and see if I can bring up the questions there. But honestly, herbalism is an art. Herbalism is a science, and herbalism is something that's well worth studying and taking the time to learn, because we have gifts. We have these gifts in our backyards that God has given us, and all we have to do is figure out what to do with them, and we can heal ourselves. We can heal our minds and our bodies and even our spirits, because I personally believe there is definitely a spiritual aspect to herbalism too. Okay, let me run down here. If we have time, I'll answer questions first, and then if not, I was going to share with you a spray recipe. If we don't have time to share this, I'll just do a separate video on it. Oh, Donna says, good morning. Hi, you guys. Let's see. Richard says, new to edibles and herbs, loving learning the land. Pineapple, oh, pineapple weed. Oh, isn't that great? What a great weed. Is my favorite so far. Yum, yum. I know it tastes good, it smells good, and it's just this weed that people step on. Are there any herbs or edibles that could help with a possible hernia? So the first thing I would say about a hernia is look at the cause, like what's causing it. You want to take care of that for sure. That's number one. And then yes, if you have a hernia, using plants like I just talked about, Comfrey, which heals up tissues, can be helpful. But Richard, again, because of the pyrrolizidine alkaloids in Comfrey, you probably want to work with an herbalist who knows what they're doing for that, okay? But that might be helpful. And then Rose says, what do you know about using moringa? I have a tree I started from seed and would like to use it medicinally. I hear moringa is very, very good for the immune system and your overall just health. So Rose, do some research on moringa and definitely start using it. I know in our group, Cheryl, I had a student a couple years ago, Cheryl Welsh, She actually grew moringa and swore by it. She said it was like the best plant ever. So it is one of those very, very good plants to take as a tonic. Okay. Jamie says, good morning, Heidi. Just harvested some marshmallow roots. Oh, yeah, I just read that one. Love these chats. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Well, Leilani, awesome. She says, I'm subscribed to your email articles and have 6 kids, and you taught me how to heal their allergies and colds naturally. Thank you. Oh, I love hearing that. Well, thank you for saying that, Leilani. That's awesome. Yeah, and yeah, I love it when people can start getting a natural home apothecary together with herbs and essential oils because they're now empowered, and guess what, they go out and share it with others. And I really, really believe so strongly, especially now in these times, this is such, I do you guys all feel this sense of urgency to start learning the things that we need to learn? Because I feel like we just need to start getting ourselves prepared. And I'm not a fear monger at all, but I feel like things are coming down the pike right now that are a little frightening. Joe just went down to the gas station yesterday, and we have two, no, yeah, no, we have 3 gas stations in our little town. And the main one had half the tanks had the little yellow plastic over them. They were turned off. So anyway, I just feel like every single household should have access to somebody who knows about natural remedies. Okay, it just gives you another medical option. And for most of it, well, for most people who dive into herbalism, myself included, it becomes your only option after a while. And I love that. I love that so much. And I love finding out that's what happens with other people too. Let's see. Diane says, any ideas on help for restless leg syndrome? I have quite a few ideas for restless leg syndrome, Diane. There are massage oils that you can put on your leg. Definitely consider magnesium. You can make magnesium spray, and it's very expensive to purchase, but you can make it yourself. I have an article on my website about how to do that. But calming oils, and I will just say, if you make a massage oil, I would suggest using sweet marjoram, lavender, those 2 together, maybe a little tiny bit of ylang ylang, rub those on your legs. And by the way, please, if you've got varicose veins, I always try to remember to tell people this, you don't want to massage your legs if you have varicose veins, okay? Because if there happens to be a clot or something in there, you could dislodge it, and that could be a problem. So if you have varicose veins, the gentle upward massage. And if you don't have varicose veins, you just go ahead and rub that oil in and enjoy that. And then that combination should help. You want to be sure you're looking at dilution rates. You guys, if you want to learn more about using herbs and essential oils for your health and your families, I would say, number 1, join the natural community. It's free. I sometimes forget to put the links in the videos. I'll try to remember to put that in the description when this is over. And then take a course. Take a course. Invest in your knowledge. Invest in your ability to learn how to use herbs and essential oils. It's worth it. It's a time investment and it's a money investment, but it's well worth it. And you save a ton of money on the backside, like literally tons, thousands. And that's what happened with me too. I can't even believe how much money I used to spend on over-the-counters and prescription drugs, and I was a mess, and now I'm not. And I grow most of my herbs. So it's really great. Betty says, what is pink dandelion, and do you know if the properties are different from regular dandelion? So Betty, this is a question where you need to know the Latin names of the plants. So regular old weedy dandelion that's yellow that we all know about is Taraxacum officinale. That's its Latin name. So if your pink dandelion has the same Latin name, then you're good to go. But I suspect it's not going to have the same name, okay? So I couldn't really speak to the differences very well there. But I would assume there are differences. Let's see. Leilani says, my mom swears by medicine and I swear by herbs and natural healing. Yes, I feel the urgency. I know. You know what I've noticed? Have you guys seen this too? It seems like the older people who are in their 70s and 80s, they were the first generation to be completely brainwashed by big pharma and the American Medical Association, and have the fear of herbs driven into them. Okay, so that would be like my dad's age. I'm 58, my dad is 86, and there's just been this fear taught to them, and they in turn turned around and taught it to us. Like, if you're in my age category, you're there with me. And so I grew up with pills. I grew up with a pill mentality. Herbs, medicinal herbs, were not used or even known about in my household at that point, because my grandparents, my dad's parents, they bought into all of the drug stuff, even though they had home remedies. My grandmother knew how to use home remedies, but she didn't ever teach us that, and we just didn't use them, because people say they learned that drugs are better, pharmaceuticals are better, over-the-counters are better. And here, I think what's happening now is people in the age category from like 35 to about, I would say 65, 70 years old. What's happening is we are experiencing health issues that modern medicine isn't taking care of. Not only that, we've got autoimmune issues now that we didn't have before. We've got hormonal disruptions that we haven't had before. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that. There's the creams that we slather all over our bodies. There's the food that we eat, the processed food, the fake food. I mean, there's a ton that goes into it. And that's on top of, the over-the-counter meds, the prescription drugs. Think about all of the unnatural things that we're putting in our bodies. So my theory is, oh, hi, Tor. My theory is that we end up in this 35 to like 65, 70-ish range. We start having health problems, and we start linking the health problems to the side effects from all of the stuff we're taking. And then we learn that, oh gosh, parabens are bad, triclosan's bad, fluoride's bad, and we start realizing that we have really poisoned our bodies unknowingly, not on purpose, of course. And that's when people start turning toward natural remedies and alternatives for wellness. And herbs, I think, should be number one. They're our very first medicine. And I'm sorry, I'm on another rant. I will just like stop here right now. But yeah, it seems like there's this age category thing. Hi, Laura from France. Wow. Definitely. It's like, we've got the elders, and then we've got the young people, and it seems like the young people haven't had any health issues yet. And then we've got this middle area where it starts happening to our bodies, and we're waking up at that point. Okay, Jean says, yes, I feel the urgency. I want to be able to help my family when TSHTF, absolutely. And if you don't know what that means, you can Google that, okay? Let's see. Michelle says, can I speak to infused oils and their shelf life? Yes, I can. So infused oils are basically when you put dried herbs into a carrier oil, and then you let it steep for, 4 weeks or longer. And if you want to, you can put it in a warm window for that period of time. That gentle heat helps the herbs release their constituents into the oil. If you don't want to, you can just leave it on your countertop, and then you strain off the liquid and you put them in a cupboard. And so shelf life is a big deal. Oils go rancid. And the thing is that you can do some small things to help preserve them. You can keep them in a cool place. And there's some other things that you can do that really I don't think help very much. But oils go rancid on their time. So back here I've got all these oils, and here I'll just reach for this bottle here. This is St. John's Wort infused oil from, get this is so bad, I'm ashamed, but it's from last summer. So this is a year old, and olive oil has a shelf life of, depending on the quality, a couple of years maybe. So I just give it a good smell, and honestly, it's just fine. It's beautiful. So I would not hesitate to use this. So what I always say is you can do a little research on the specific shelf life of your oils, you know, tamanu oil, evening primrose oil, apricot oil, whatever, sunflower seed oil, and they're going to have slightly different shelf lives. So take that into consideration, and you can also look at the best by date on the bottle. But the number one way to know if your oil has turned is to just smell it, okay? Otherwise, if it doesn't smell bad, I use it. It's just fine. And let's see here. Oh, Leilani says, yeah, I'm 31 and my mom is 67. Yeah, well, maybe you can help her come around. My mom is she's 81, and she's actually willing to try natural things and listen. But she's funny. When we were little kids, she was in that hippie phase, I think, you know, and she used to make granola and sprouts on the countertop, and so I grew up like that, and we were not allowed to have junk food in our house. So luckily, I did grow up with really healthy eating habits, but thanks to her. But so she's actually willing to, she's a little open-minded to it. Like I give her things for her arthritis and, you know, the circulation in her feet, which was really bad this last winter, and they help. So she's now open to it. Rose says, let's see, I'm 76 and love using herbs. Yes, I know, Rose. As you know, I've been learning from you for a few years. So glad I started on this journey. I'm so glad you did too. And you have been a blessing, Rose, as many people have. Cindy too. And Cindy says, I look at the harvest date for my olive oil. It gives a great idea of the shelf life of it. Yeah, that's a really good idea. So if you have that information at hand, that's really good to know. Well, you guys, that's all the questions, and it is 10:30, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I'll do this again next week if you want, and I'll see you then. All right, guys, I love you all, and I hope to see you in the community. Sign up for my newsletter. You get a weekly newsletter, sometimes an extra one or two, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And I have some free gifts. I'll make sure I put those in the description too for the replay, if anybody wants to watch the replay. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. And in the meantime, maybe I'll be able to get some more videos out. Bye-bye.